Air travel is often considered one of the safest modes of transportation, largely due to advancements in technology, rigorous safety protocols, and the expertise of flight crews. However, recent aviation incidents in the United States have put that reputation to the test, highlighting that despite all these improvements, risks still exist in the skies. Over a short period, a series of alarming accidents have unfolded, each one underscoring the fact that air travel, while generally safe, is not without its dangers. From a deadly mid-air collision to ground mishaps, emergency landings, and falling debris, these events have shaken the aviation community and raised important questions about flight safety. The most tragic of these incidents occurred on January 29, 2025, when a mid-air collision took place between an American Airlines jet and a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter over the Potomac River near Washington, D.C. The crash resulted in the deaths of all 67 people on board both aircraft, making it the deadliest air disaster in the U.S. since 2001. Eyewitnesses described hearing an explosion and witnessing debris falling into the river below as emergency teams rushed to the scene. Despite their immediate response, the cause of the crash remains unknown. Investigators are looking into the possibility of miscommunication, mechanical failure, or pilot error. This devastating incident has raised serious concerns about air traffic control communication, especially when military and civilian aircraft share the same airspace. Authorities are now focusing on improving coordination between air traffic controllers and pilots in these high-traffic zones to ensure such a tragedy is never repeated. Just days after this devastating mid-air collision, another incident occurred on February 5, 2025, at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. This time, a Japan Airlines aircraft collided with a stationary Delta Airlines plane while taxiing. Thankfully, no injuries were reported, but the collision caused significant damage to the tail of the Delta plane. The crash has raised concerns about airport ground safety and taxiway procedures, prompting investigators to examine whether poor communication between ground crews and pilots may have played a role in the incident. While the accident did not lead to major disruptions at the airport, it served as a reminder of the potential risks during taxiing and the need for improved communication and safety protocols on the ground. These incidents highlight that, even with modern advancements in aviation technology, air travel is not without its dangers. While the industry has made enormous strides in improving safety, these recent events remind us that vigilance and constant improvement are necessary to ensure the safety of everyone involved in air travel. For those eager to stay informed on the latest developments surrounding these investigations, as well as other breaking news in aviation, subscribe to Mnews today. Stay up to date with real-time coverage and expert insights. The unsettling series of aviation incidents didn't stop with the mid-air collision in Washington, D.C., and the ground mishap in Seattle. On January 31st, 2025, yet another tragedy struck the skies when a medical transport jet crashed shortly after takeoff from Northeast Philadelphia Airport. The aircraft, which was carrying a team of 6 medical professionals, was on its way to transport a patient when it went down, resulting in the death of everyone on board. Tragically, a civilian on the ground also lost their life due to the crash. The accident caused a massive explosion and fire, severely damaging the surrounding area and making rescue efforts difficult. The wreckage of the jet was scattered, adding to the complexity of recovery operations. The National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, is currently investigating the cause of the crash, examining possibilities like engine failure, mechanical malfunction, or fuel system issues. This incident has put a spotlight on the safety of medical air transport, which, while critical for saving lives, often involves flights in challenging conditions. The fact that the plane was carrying medical professionals underscores just how high the stakes are in these kinds of flights. Authorities are now reviewing safety protocols for medical jets to ensure that future accidents of this nature can be prevented, especially given the high-pressure environment these flights often operate under. The community is grieving the loss of these individuals, and it raises questions about how to make such life-saving operations safer for all involved. The following day, on February 2nd, 2025, Houston, Texas became the site of yet another unsettling aviation incident. United Airlines Flight 1382, a commercial flight preparing for takeoff at George Bush Intercontinental Airport, experienced a terrifying engine fire while taxiing. Quick-thinking crew members immediately aborted the takeoff, preventing what could have been a much worse disaster. All 104 passengers and 5 crew members were safely evacuated from the aircraft, and emergency services responded quickly to contain the fire. Thankfully, no one was injured, but this incident has raised serious concerns about aircraft maintenance, engine safety, and how airlines handle emergency situations. Investigators are working to determine whether the fire was caused by a mechanical malfunction, foreign debris in the engine, or some other issue. This close call highlights the importance of proper maintenance checks and the ability of flight crews to act swiftly in emergency situations. The fact that the crew was able to abort the takeoff in time underscores the importance of well-trained staff in mitigating potential disasters. The aviation industry will likely review emergency procedures and aircraft safety measures following this incident to ensure that such events are handled even more effectively in the future. In a bizarre twist, on February 3rd, 2025, a chunk of ice fell from the sky and crashed through the roof of a home in Palm Coast, Florida. While this incident didn't result in any injuries, it was still highly unusual and unsettling. Authorities suspect the ice came from a high-altitude aircraft, which may have experienced blue ice formation. The FAA has launched an investigation into whether the ice indeed came from an aircraft, and if so, they are urging airlines to review their procedures for ice buildup to prevent similar incidents from occurring. The event left many wondering just how much attention should be paid to the potential hazards posed by falling debris, particularly when it comes to blue ice. This series of events, from the devastating crash in Philadelphia to the close call in Houston and the bizarre incident in Florida, has forced the aviation community to reflect on safety measures and protocols. These incidents are grim reminders of how fragile safety can be, even in an industry that has made tremendous strides over the years. Each of these events has spurred investigations into aircraft safety, maintenance, ground procedures, and emergency responses. It is clear that the aviation industry must continue to evolve and learn from these mistakes to prevent future tragedies. As families and communities mourn the victims of these accidents, and as investigators search for answers, the question remains: what can be done to make air travel even safer? What improvements are needed to ensure that these tragedies don't repeat? The aviation industry has undoubtedly made significant progress in safety over the years, but as these incidents remind us, constant vigilance, innovation, and improvement are needed to safeguard the future of air travel. To stay updated on the ongoing investigations and receive timely news on aviation safety, subscribe to Mnews today. Stay informed, stay safe, and get the latest developments as they unfold.